This is a demo that I do in my own workshops. Basically, what kind of camera is this that we're looking at? It's a Sony
EX1.
EX1, Sony EX1. I mean, until a few years ago, if you had a camcorder, this is the kind of image that you'd expect. I mean, even fairly wide open. I'm not sure what stop you're on there, but it's probably relatively wide open. I mean, make it as wide open as you can by even throwing an ND in. It's set up for. See if you can get down to what is it, 1916 by throwing in an ND.
That's wide open.
Yeah, that's wide open. Okay, all right. I mean, even that's wide open on this lens at 1.9, and we basically got a comparison going on here. We've got a shot that's on the Sony EX1 camcorder, which is basically, until about 4 years ago, something like that, this is what most people would be able to afford to shoot if you were going to make a low-budget movie and you couldn't afford 16mm or 35mm film. I mean, you'd be shooting on a camera such as this. You want to pan around to the camera and it's just basically a regular but very high-quality camcorder. Does anybody know the cost of these? They're probably about $6,000 or something.
Yeah, they were about 6 when they came out.
Yeah, about $6,000. I mean, even now, I mean, a lot of the camcorders around now are sort of $8,000. The Canon X35, is it?
XF305.
XF305. Sorry, I'm really bad with numbers.
Sure.
You know, that's about $8,000, and this is the kind of image that you get. What's immediately apparent to me as a filmmaker is that even wide open, this is set on a 35mm prime on the 5D, which we'll show you in a minute. But what you'll notice about this image is that almost everything is in focus. So you have lost the ability to kind of direct the eye to anything in particular because everything is of equal importance. We have focus effect. It's very slightly off down here, but right the way through to the background, the blinds are in focus, the bookshelf is in focus, the plant is just slightly out of focus, but not to the point of any great noticeable difference. So let's switch over now to the Canon, if we may. Not a half and half, just go to a full frame if you can.
Just a second.
There we go. So look at the incredible difference. We're suddenly now on a Canon. We match the shots up as close as we can, so I think they're pretty close. But that's the Canon on a, I think it's on a 1.2 or 1.4.
1.4.
But suddenly we've got a very cinematic effect on a camera that costs half the price, effectively, and we've created an image that's much more cinematic to look at. In fact, even shooting on 35mm, you can't achieve this depth of field, this lack of depth of field, I should say, just purely because the sensor on the Canon 5D is so much bigger. The lenses are very fast. I mean, there are 1 or 2 lenses that you can get for regular 35, but it's all to do with sensor size. And if you're shooting television 16:9 on 3 perf, you're shooting on an area, a real estate, which is, I don't know what the proportion is exactly, but it's somewhere about half the real estate that you're shooting on when you shoot on the 5D, which is why I love the 5D. Steve, do you mind racking to the background there? There we go. So now we've racked focus too. It's just slightly off. Just come back a little bit. Yeah, somewhere like that. So you can see this really absolutely beautiful ability to kind of shift the plane of interest from one area to the other. And I think this is a fantastic demonstration as to what you can achieve on a 5D and to a certain extent a 7D and certainly on the 1D Mark IV or any DSLR camera that basically shoots a fairly large format and records video will give you this kind of effect, which is much more cinematic than any other camcorder on the market. Things are changing slightly now with the new Sony F3 that has come out. The sensor's a bit bigger, but there's still nothing that compares to the 5D. And in fact, that's why I love the 5D on house, because there is no other way of achieving this kind of effect.